Welcome to Pen and Gadget, and this, well, they don't really have names. The loose term is cigarette fountain pen. These are an Aliexpress, probably exclusive. I haven't seen these anywhere. There are two different variations, and I'll go through them right now. But let me start with the blue one. You can order these on Aliexpress for about $4 to $2 to $10. It kind of depends on the seller and if they allow you to choose the options or you get a random color. So let's uncap this here. Right off the bat, you see a very interesting, let's try to get this in focus here. You get a very interesting nib. Now there's the nib. As you can see, there's a little ink on it because it is inked up right now. I decided to test one of them just to, get the ball rolling. It's very tiny nib. It is an extra fine nib. You could sort of see the feed right there underneath it, plastic feed. And then it has this encasement around. It is metal. I don't know what kind of metal, but it seems to have some kind of coating over it. So maybe it's, maybe it's just kind of a base brass. I'm not sure. On the back end, we see it's just flat here. And then unfortunately on the side, we have this barcode. Now, I'm not sure what this barcode is for. I don't know if this is for the design, if they thought it was cool to have a barcode on it or not. I really don't understand the whole thing, but it's really on there. So this isn't one of those things where you have like a stamp and you can take a little rubbing alcohol and remove it. No, because that's what I thought. And my wishes was, okay, this will come in, I'll take a little rubbing alcohol and clean this off. No, this is on there. As you can see, I'm going to get up really close here. Let's wipe all the dust off. That is really like on there. It's like an enamel paint. It's thick. It has height to it. So this is not something that can be easily removed. I believe the only way I could actually remove this is if I sanded this completely down smooth and then, polished it back up. I just don't know. There's no information at all about these particular items other than a photo. They didn't even have the dimensions in most of them. I found the dimensions on one of them, which is an actual size of a cigarette, which I didn't know. So this was a blind purchase. One of them, I spent more money on this one because they allowed me to choose the blue. So that's what I did. I bought one of them for much more money than it's worth. Just so I could get the blue, and the other one was random, and they had a bunch of different colors. And then this one, it was in a random batch, and I had a feeling they were going to send obviously the color that nobody really wants, this salmon, this skin tone / salmon, weird, not pink, brown, whatever. That was the random option with a blue, and I knew this was coming. So I made sure I got the blue because I was like, nah, they're not going to give me two blue. Anywho, continuing on, this is very, very interesting. Let's go in here. Let's take it apart. You grab. This isn't the section, but I guess you can call it the section. It's really part of the nib, I guess. This is really where you'd want to hold. I feel like that's the proper spot to hold on. So let's take this apart. You unscrew, and it's quite a lot of threads here. Okay, now it's loose. You see, those are the threads, and then we come up to a surprise. Now, this is very interesting because not too long ago, I made a comment on Reddit about how we don't have any new pens that use ink sacs. And sure enough, here you go. Here's a brand new pen designed with an ink sac. As you can see, it's got some ink, not fully filled up. But yeah, this is a squeeze ink sac that's attached to the bottom. Now, I don't know if this is glued or not. I'll dissect one. I have a few more coming in because I want to try to get the different colors. Right now, I got the colors that I knew were going to show up, kind of, but that they have green and a couple of here. I'll flash it on the screen with the different colors. But yeah, okay. So you basically use this as a squeeze converter that's permanently attached. You squeeze down, you dip it in, and you release, and then you got to do it a couple of times, and it'll start to fill up. Now, this is this version. Let me assemble this back together here. Let's see. putting this back together. Okay, let's go down here a little bit. Real quick, we're going to jump in and do some measurements here. Let's check this out. This is 1, 2, 3 and exactly a half. So 3.5 inches on the screw down type, and for the non-screw down type, it definitely is shorter. 3 and a little bit over a quarter, so 3.3 maybe inches. Maybe that would be a little bit, but yeah. Anywho, there is a size difference, not a crazy difference, but just enough. Actually, you know what? I might have measured this one wrong. Let's see. Getting it right to the edge. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter than the half, but not by much. That gives you an idea. And then thin, they are very thin. They're about a little over a quarter of an inch thick. So it is, tiny. It's like holding a pencil. But again, they're nice size. Cool. Moving on. So this is this version, right? The cap, I didn't even show you. So, and there is a little bit of a plastic liner in this one in particular. There's a very, very narrow distance between the top and in there, but there's a reason why. Let's take this apart. Flipping it over around. Whoa. Yeah, it's magnetic. Not only is it magnetic, but it's one of those rare, good magnetic. Oh, this was my other gripe with it. It seems like their printing process is not so smooth and clean, because that is the same ink that this is. I thought, again, I could wipe this off or even chip it off. No, it's on there pretty good. So again, if I try to sand this barcode down to have it all white, maybe that'll go away. We'll see. But moving on to the back again, that's magnetic. As you can see, there's 2 magnets embedded inside. Now, this is not. These are made for pennies, and they're sold from $2 to $8. So you're expecting very low quality. And yeah, these are not the highest quality. The edges you see are very rough, rough around the edges. Get it? They have magnets, polar opposite magnets, that really do a good job of attaching. I mean, honestly, posting this and applying like lots of pressure to try to bend it off there, you got to be really stressed out. You have to be having a bad day to have that pop off. I can't do it. In regular writing, my pressure is here and it's gliding. It feels totally fine and normal. So this actually works. It's functionally very good. And I really like the security of it being screwed down here, because you do kind of need that with this unknown, how long it's going to last kind of thing. But then just to flip it over and it snaps, and it's very, very strong. It feels good. So that's very satisfying. That's actually really satisfying to feel that. Moving on, let's go to the other version. We'll cap this guy right now. There we go. Put this aside. And now we have this version. Now this version, we'll get up close here. They have their writing. Now this is in their photos. They have their writing. They have a little logo / mascot thing here. And then some Chinese writing and numbers. And then there's some kind of wordage here in Chinese, and then Laoshi. Yeah. So that comes, and you could already see this is a little different. This one, although it was the random color one that was less money, this was, I think, $2.50 shipped. Yeah, $2.50 shipped. And then this one was like $8.50 shipped. So already it's odd, because this one is the better quality version. Although I didn't get, a color that I really wanted. The machining is much nicer on this, and you could already tell that there's something different here. This has a screw to post end on it. So let's take this one apart here. Same exact kind of nib, but the ends are different, but very nice. I mean, this is, look up close. That's really nice machine work. Now, it's probably polished. It's probably put under a wheel so it smooths everything out. But still, the fact that they added that little detail to it was quite nice. There is no liner in this one. It's just right to the edge. However, I mean, that's really good. I mean, we're up here close and this is tiny. Those threads are nice. They don't feel sharp. Yeah, so this comes apart the same exact way. You just unscrew while holding this metal section. And there's a better view of the squeeze converter here. Let's get up on here. So that there's an inner tube and an outer tube. The one I'm wiggling, outer tube. That inner tube goes to the nib. You know what? I'm actually not 100% sure how this works. Let's see if I can pull this apart. Can it? No, it's on there. So this is, yeah, that's, I think, shellacked on there, which is cool. And I could be wrong, but I don't want to destroy this one on camera simply because I do want to ink this one up for you so you can have a view of how it works. This little tiny nib in here does, whoops, hold on. Let's see if I can get this really up close. There we go. This little nib right here has this sleeve over it. It does move on the other one. I can actually like pull it or push it out from the back and it kind of wiggles. I'm not sure this is meant to be taken apart. Again, I'll dissect this in another video to sacrifice one so that we can see the true inner workings. But let's get it inked up right now. So let's get our trusty ink. Let's get our little ink rag out so we don't make a mess of things here. Okay. I consistently use this ink for my reviews. This is a Hungdian black non-carbon. Actually a really nice black. Let's unscrew this here. Okay, and we'll jump in a bit. Get this in frame. And we're just going to squeeze as much of this as I can. Go down. Oh, I'm looking through the camera lens. There's no parallax here. All the way down and then releasing. Okay, so yeah, you could see that it grabbed some, and I'm just going to keep squeezing to fill it up more and more and more. Okay, that's not a bad amount. Let's wipe this clean here. Being very delicate. Okay, getting all the excess ink off. Let me get the ink off of this. I got ink on my fingers. Okay, being gentle. Cap this so we don't make a mess. Put it back in its hole. Okay, now let's put this guy back together. Now this is my first time inking up this one, obviously, so I am not so sure of how well this one will write. But we will have a first expression. Okay, and then we'll jump back to the wide real quick. The threads here are nice and smooth and satisfying as well. Nice, smooth feel in the hand. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, so let's jump in. Let's get a little writing sample going on here. All righty, jump on in. Okay, let's see if I could do this. Get my glasses on. And we're just simply going to do... Oh, give me a little scribble here. Get some ink flowing, maybe. Okay. Let's see. Very, very fine. Very, very fine. But I gotta say, very fine, but also pretty smooth for how fine of a nib it is. That's actually impressive. Now, the other one, let me grab that one that's already inked up. Let's see. Like, I love that magnetic thing. Let's see. Oh, I gotta grab my glasses and put them back on. All right, let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a thicker nib, I feel. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a difference for sure. I'll go back to this one. Yeah, let me write it right next to. Okay, so we could see that there is definitely a line difference in thickness. It's, I feel like, extra fine versus extra extra fine in these nibs. There are some nib options. I kind of don't remember, and maybe I'll flash it on the screen of what they offered. They do give you some nib options for some sales. However, I just don't remember which ones I ordered for these. They might have been correct, or they might have just been extra fine, and they both have variants. But overall, I gotta say, especially this blue one, let me go back simply because this is interesting to me. It has a little scratch to it, but nothing bad. This isn't it feels sort of smooth. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Oh, you know what? I did that whole speech about how it didn't break free, and it just broke free on me. Okay, so maybe depending on where you're choking up on this thing, it does break free because it did just happen. Okay, fair enough. You know what? This is, for the price, this is a really decent writer. I was not expecting that at all. Let me go back to the other one. This one feels more scratchy because it's obviously like extra, extra fine. I'm shaking these just to get the ink moving inside of here because, quite honestly, I didn't fill this one up fully as I should have. Let's see. Oh, you know what? This one feels smoother all of a sudden. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Okay, well, we can obviously see the variation in line thickness here. This is definitely a finer, but this is becoming all of a sudden very smooth. Now, I didn't flush this or anything. I definitely should have, but there's no real easy way to flush them, so I'm just going with the flow right now. Wow, it's actually getting better as I'm writing. Quite a surprise. Well, for how fine this nib is, I have, I mean, this is $3, less than $3. I have much more expensive extra fine nibs that do not come close to writing this well. That's shocking. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Let's jump back to the other one real quick. I know this is a little bit long, but no one's done a review on these. Oops, see, I forget which one is which. Let me go back to this one. Let me see if there's like an angle that it writes at better or worse. This is left angle, right angle. Okay, so right angle is too much for it. So it wants to be left. Yeah, okay. But it goes smoothly. Yeah, it's got it has a directional. I think I'm just wearing it out because the feed is not large enough to push it out. I'll do a secondary video. Let me jump back out of here. I'll do a secondary video of these guys, like tuned, so to speak. I'll flush them out completely. I'll make sure that everything's nice and neat, and I'll see how good I could get these to be. Because honestly, this was about $10, I think, total, right? $10 for 2 pens, because one was $8 and the other one was like around $2. So total about $10 or so shipped to me. And it came pretty quick. It was within, I think, a week and a half. Yeah, this is shocking. Now, I don't like smoking, and I've mentioned it before in some of my other videos that, you know, some pens have this like smoking connection. I don't know why, but you know, some things look like vape pens or whatnot. I don't like smoking at all. And I wouldn't certainly want to keep this as something that's, you know, cigarette like. This looks much more like a cigarette because of the color, but this one doesn't as much, again, because of the color. However, I think this is a really interesting design overall, I don't see many of these very tiny, nibs like this. With the sleeve. I know there are some out there, but not many. And then the integrated little squeeze bulb that's shellacked on. I believe it's shellacked on. It might be hypersonic glued on too, or they dip it in a high frequency thing and it shrinks or something like that, or maybe it's heat shrunk. I'm not so sure. I'll take one of these apart. We'll revisit it, but this is a long enough video. They don't have a name. The title of the video will be whatever I decide the actual name is, but I'm sure it's some kind of cigarette, fountain pen, cheap cigarette fountain pen, whatnot. Anywho, this has been an overview of these pens, the two different versions, one with the magnetic end and the other one with the screw end. You do have to check your your photos on Aliexpress because they're a little deceptive. One of these, I forget which one, had photo of both versions, and I didn't know which one was going to show up. I'm glad one of each showed up because I was then able to show you the two different versions. This one is obviously the magnet, and this one's the screw-on. So, the screw-on one is actually much more refined. Oh, and of course, I didn't mention this, but no barcode, unlike this one that has the barcode. So that's a big difference right there. I tried to swap them. They do not swap. There is a clearance issue because this one has a magnet inside it. So that magnet's about that deep inside. The way they compensated for the sizing, it's different. So I cannot swap the caps. The caps are proprietary. I can't swap the bodies. I can't swap the caps. There is a sizing issue. I already tried because I do prefer this, but I wanted the blue. I couldn't make it happen. So I'll just have to order another one for another $2.50, whatever it is. Anywho, I'll shut up now. This has been I can't even talk. This has been Pen and Gadget saying sayonara.